My name is Sam, and what I'm about to share isn't something I usually talk about. Not because I've forgotten it, but because I remember it too clearly. Even after 5 years, it still lives inside me like a shadow that refuses to leave. It all started one night at 12:30 a.m. when my phone rang. It was my friend. His voice was trembling, low, panicked. He said his father had suddenly fallen seriously ill and he was being shifted to a hospital. He didn't want to be alone and asked if I could come, just to be there. It was a 4-hour drive, and I didn't even think twice. I grabbed my wallet, my jacket, phone charger, and a water bottle. I locked up and got into my car. The night was calm. The road stretched ahead, quiet, with nothing but the dull glow of the headlights. After 1.5 hours of driving, something happened. There, under a flickering streetlight, stood an old man. He raised one hand, trying to get my attention, as if he needed help. For a second, I slowed down, but I didn't stop. I don't know why. Maybe I was too focused. Maybe I felt uneasy, but I passed him. I kept looking in the rearview mirror. He didn't move, just kept staring at my car, still holding his hand out. I felt something heavy sink into my chest. Guilt. What if he really needed help? What if something had happened to him? That guilt clung to me like fog for the next hour. At around 2:30 a.m., I pulled into a fuel station. I got out to grab a coffee and take a quick break. The silence outside was thick, and I could feel the night pressing down. That's when I saw her. A woman standing alone near the edge of the station. She wasn't moving, just staring at my car. Her hair was slightly messy, sticking to her face, and her long black coat made her look like she belonged to another time. She slowly walked toward me. "Excuse me," she said, her voice soft, almost fragile. "My car is parked over there. The engine is dead. I need to get to the next interchange. There's no transport at this time. Can you give me a lift?" I paused. A part of me wanted to say no, but I remembered the old man. That guilt hit me again like a punch. "Sure," I said. "Hop in." She nodded and got into the car. She didn't speak much, just stared out of the window, hands folded in her lap, eyes distant. The silence in the car was strange, not awkward, but heavy. A few minutes later, she softly said, "Actually, could you drop me to a nearby village instead? It's just before the interchange." There's no other way for me to reach home. I looked at her. She didn't seem threatening, just tired, helpless. I agreed. The road to the village was narrow, trees closing in on both sides. There were no lights, just darkness pressing against the car from all directions. And that silence, that strange, choking silence. Then she pointed. "That's my house." It stood like a forgotten monument, a huge old mansion surrounded by rusted fencing and wild trees. The building was massive, with broken windows, faded walls, and shadows crawling up its sides. Just as I parked near the gate, rain started pouring, suddenly and violently. A storm had arrived out of nowhere. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and rain slammed against the windshield like angry fists. She looked at me. "It's raining too hard. Please, come inside. Just wait until it slows down." I didn't want to. Everything inside me said no, but I nodded. I followed her through the iron gate and into the house. The door creaked open like it hadn't been touched in years. The moment I stepped in, the air turned cold. Not just cold, but wrong. It smelled of dust, rot, and something else. Something old and buried. The furniture was covered in faded cloth. The portraits on the walls had cracked faces, and their eyes seemed to follow me. My every footstep echoed too loudly. It was as if the house was listening. She led me to a dim sitting room. Then she sat across from me and started speaking. She talked about her life, her loneliness, how she spent her childhood in silence, and how she never had anyone. Her voice was dreamy, like she was stuck in the past. I nodded politely, trying to stay calm, though every inch of me was alert. Then, she reached out and touched my hand. Her fingers were freezing cold, not like someone chilled by the rain, but like they had no blood in them. I looked into her eyes, and I knew. She didn't want comfort. She didn't want company. She wanted something else. I stood up immediately. I didn't care about the rain anymore. "I should leave," I said, walking toward the door. But as I tried to move, my foot locked. It was like something invisible had wrapped around my ankle. I stumbled. I couldn't lift my leg. My hands trembled. My throat tightened. I reached for the door, but it wouldn't open. Then, a loud knock. I froze. Another knock, harder this time. I forced the door open, and through the wall of rain, I saw an old man standing there, the same old man from the road. He looked at me, soaked from head to toe. "What are you doing here, son?" My mouth was dry. I told him everything. The woman, the house, her strange silence, the way the door refused to open. His face changed. "No one lives here," he said. "No one has lived here for nearly 100 years, and no one knows who owns it anymore. People say they hear laughter at night, a woman's voice, but no one dares to step inside." I turned around. She was gone. No trace, no footsteps, no voice. Just that cold, breathing silence of the house. The old man helped me back to my car. I drove away through the storm, not once looking into the rearview mirror. By morning, I reached my friend's place. His father was perfectly fine, stable, resting, talking, laughing. Later, I told my friend everything. He laughed. Even now, 5 years later, he still laughs. Says I was probably exhausted, hallucinating. But I know what I felt. The way her fingers burned ice cold into my skin. The way that house seemed to watch me. I got sick the next day. A high fever gripped me for 2 whole days. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. When I finally recovered, I started digging. That house, abandoned for almost a century. And every time someone tries to stay, they leave within a few days. Some even disappear. No one maintains it. No one talks about it. The last registered owner is someone named Mr. Joseph. He lives abroad. Never came back, never sold it. But the locals say a woman still lives there, or something that looks like a woman. And if you're out too late, if you drive alone, she'll find you. People still laugh when I talk about it, but if they really thought, just for a second, what it would feel like to sit in that cold, quiet house, to see her pale face in the flickering light, to feel her freezing hand reach for yours, would they still laugh? I don't know, but I know what I saw.